Self-discipline and organized thinking are almost synonymous terms. There can be no organized thinking without strict self-discipline. For after all, organized thought is nothing but carefully chosen thought. Thought habits can be established only through strict self-discipline. Motive or obsessional desires make self-discipline very easy. It is no trouble at all to form thought habits if one has a definite motive, backed by a strong emotional desire for the attainment of the object of the motive. The procrastinator drifts through life, a failure, because he has no obsessional motive for doing anything in particular. His thinking is not organized because he has chosen no specific calling for organized planning. Organized thinking enables one to become the master of his own mind. This he accomplishes by training his faculty of will to control his emotions, turning them on and off as occasion may require. B. Organized thinking forces one to work with definiteness of purpose, thereby enabling him to set up a habit that prohibits procrastination. C. It develops the habit of working with definite plans instead of blundering ahead by the hit or miss method. D. It enables one to stimulate the subconscious mind to greater action and more ready response in the attainment of desired ends, instead of allowing the subconscious mind to respond to the tramp thoughts and destructive influences of one's environment. E. It develops self-reliance. F. It gives one the benefit of the knowledge, experience, and education of others through the medium of the Mastermind Alliance, which is an important medium used by all able thinkers. G. It enables one to convert his efforts into greater material resources and larger income, since an organized mind can produce more than one that is not organized. H. It develops the habit of accurate analysis, through which one may find the solution to his problems instead of worrying over them. I. It aids in maintaining sound health, because mind power that is organized and directed toward the attainment of desirable ends has no time to be wasted in connection with self-pity or imaginary ailments. Idle minds tend to develop ailing bodies. J. Last, but by no means least, organized thinking leads to peace of mind, and that form of permanent happiness which is known only to the man who keeps his mind fully occupied. No one can be either happy or successful without a planned program for the use of his time. Planned programs are based on organized thinking. As I have stated before, the brain is something like a rich garden spot, in that it will voluntarily grow a fine crop of weeds if it is not organized and kept busy growing a more desirable crop. The weeds are represented by the stray thoughts that take possession of the unorganized, idle mind as the result of one's daily environment. Study this list of benefits carefully, and you'll reach the conclusion that any one of them offers sufficient reward to justify all the efforts one puts into organizing his thinking habits. The sum total of all these benefits represents the difference between success and failure. Success is always the result of an ordered life. An ordered life comes through organized thinking and carefully controlled habits.
Well, you've gone from looking out of windows at classrooms to having a very regimented timetable on the weekends. How did you develop such a good self-discipline?
I don't know. I am very disciplined. That's all I can say to you. Very, very disciplined. A creature of habit. What's that thing? Is it called OCD or something like that? Yeah. If you look at my desk, you'll see all the pens lined up like that, and the piece of paper over here, and the cup over there, and all that. So I am just very disciplined. That's it. And I think in business and in life, I've work on the principle of clear my desk every minute or every day, so answer emails immediately, answer people's questions immediately. That's been my success in running my company, that I'm there to, like a springboard, if you like, for employees to tell me what their issue is, and then to give them a quick resolution or to it so they can get on and deal with it. So that's my discipline, and I would heartily recommend it to all of you. If you decide to become, you should be disciplined. You should discipline yourself, because it's not a bad way of life.
I wrote this book so that everyone in America could experience, what I experienced 20 years as a Navy SEAL, and the thought processes and the mental models that Navy SEAL use to be, super effective at what they do. It all starts with a deep, self-awareness. I call that your set point. In order to know where you want to go in life, you got to know where you are right now. And so that set point is, about developing your purpose, your passion, and then those guiding principles that are going to get you, in the right direction.
Oftentimes people will come to me for advice on fitness, on building their businesses, and their relationships, whatever the case may be. And often the place that they're dropping the ball is in bad habits or not building productive habits. Because it's very difficult to just get up and change your life, just change the way you do things. People like to say that all the time, hey, just stop doing this or start doing that. They like to give advice, but the underlying factor is that our friend, our individual, whoever's asking the question, is not disciplined enough to actually put that thing in action, get that thing done. So the thing that I have always told my students and my clients is to start with a small win. Begin with something small. So, for example, if you want to lose weight, I often tell people just start walking every single morning. Don't worry about counting calories. Don't worry about complex workout ideas. Don't worry about anything that anyone is selling you. Just get up and walk every morning. Right? Now, it's not the walking that's actually going to make that person successful. Now, it will add to your success because getting up and walking fresh air and exercise is going to support you in losing weight. But we all know that there's far more factors to consider. But what it will do is create the virtue of discipline, commitment, right? Commitment and discipline sort of go together. And the fact that that small win associated with getting up every single morning is under your belt, you're going to feel the courage, the confidence, and you will have the ability to begin adding other things to your ability to grow stronger. So now that you know, it's been 60 days, 90 days, and it's like you got that pattern down pat. You get up every morning, you just walk, that's it. You don't think about it, it's become a habit. You now can use that tool of creating habits and instilling discipline with the next one, which should be a little bit more advanced. Perhaps only drink water with your meals. Don't drink any soda, don't drink any juice, just drink water. That's the next one. And then the next one becomes more complex, and the next one becomes more complex. Now, it might seem like this is tedious and slow, but I guarantee you that after 90 days of tiny wins and the revamping of your character, you will be the type of person that can get anything done at any time. And the long-time perspective is going to be a successful one for you. Start small, have big wins with these little things, and then use that new version of yourself, that new character tool to attack bigger and more advanced things until you reach your goal.
Self-discipline carried Wilbur and Orville Wright through a multitude of failures and enabled them finally to give the world its first practical airplane, an achievement which has made the world smaller and changed the entire trend of civilization. Self-discipline helped Helen Keller to triumph over deafness, blindness, and dumbness, a combination of afflictions such as most people never experience. Self-discipline helped me to carry on through years of heart-aching discouragement and defeat, and give the world the first practical philosophy of success based on the know-how gained by hundreds of men and women who spent a lifetime by the trial and error method in discovery of the principles which lead to personal success. Self-discipline is among the top-ranking features of all the great religions, including, of course, the Christian faith. And there are some people who believe that our major purpose on earth is that of developing wisdom through struggle and self-discipline. One thing is certain, no one ever becomes very wise without the aid of self-discipline, and no one ever finds peace of mind and happiness without the strict exercise of self-discipline. Self-discipline is the only means of transmuting sorrow into faith. It is the only means by which we may transmute hatred of others into the milder emotion of sympathy for them. It is the only means by which we may reveal and profit by the seed of an equivalent benefit which comes with every adversity and every defeat. It is the only means by which we may shut out of our minds the deadly effects of past experiences of suffering and unpleasantness. and it is the means by which we may discover that other self we carry around with us, that self which has great capacity for belief and does not become influenced by failure and defeat. Self-discipline can give us freedom from the fear of death, the most difficult to master of all of our fears. It can free us from the disease of hypochondria, the fear of imaginary illness with which so many people suffer and sometimes die. Self-discipline is the means by which we may think our own thoughts, live our own lives as we wish to live them, and remain forever free from the evils of fears and limitations which we have inherited from the dark ages before the dawn of civilization.
One of the traits I've noticed from hanging around with millionaires as well as a billionaire is that they're all able to self-control themselves and stay incredibly disciplined in whatever they do. So I've noticed over the years that discipline is one of the biggest keys to success. It's a habit you will see, and it's a trait you will see amongst incredibly successful people out there. So in this video, I wanted to tell you the 3 things that you can do to stay more disciplined in your life. Now, I just want to mention, because nowadays everybody's giving this sort of advice, this is actually coming from personal experience. A lot of you guys know, when I was hanging around in gangs 8 years ago, you can be assured I was far from disciplined. I smoked a lot of weed, took a lot of other drugs, and alarm clock was literally non-existent. So I know what it's like to procrastinate. I know what it's like to feel depressed, not want to do anything. But I managed to get out of that rut. So if you actually take action on what I'm going to say to you today, I can assure you, you're going to start getting results. Because I truly believe it's all about learning from people who've actually been at where you used to be and actually managed to get themselves out. Not so much just, I read a book and here you go. So this actually comes from personal experience. And trust me, once you're more disciplined in your life, you will actually start living more of a fulfilled life. Because discipline allows you to have more freedom in your life. So let's start by mentioning what discipline is. All discipline is the ability to self-control your primitive base desires. If you look at any negative habits, such as snoozing the alarm clock, such as not wanting to venture out and do wild stuff, right? Become a serial entrepreneur. If you look at it from a primitive base desire point of view, whereby we are designed to survive and replicate, guess what? Guess what? It's normal. Who wouldn't want to lay in bed? Who wouldn't want to, play it safe? Who wouldn't want to just know exactly what they're doing every single day and not feel confused, right? It's a primitive base desire. We're designed to survive. So if people who give into that, well, often they just are giving into it because they don't know otherwise, right? They're just playing in accordance to what they know. But I know, you watching this video, you're not one of them. You are not average. Because this is behavior of average people. Because average people don't know how to control their mind. And they don't have this knowledge available to them to realize the reason why they hit the snooze button, the reason why they're procrastinating on doing something big, is because it's just us. It's, as a human being, it's natural. Every one of us, even striving to be successful, are aware of the fact that our mind is going to push us the other way. Our mind wants us to hit that snooze button. Our mind wants to push the work aside and let us rest. But it's the people who are able to self-control themselves, they're the one who make it big. The first thing I did 8 years ago was to change my identity. And the biggest reason for that is because your behavior will never deviate from the internal mapping. In other words, as Tony Robbins would say, the strongest force in the human psychology is the need to remain congruent with how you identify yourself. So how you view yourself right now, guess what? You're going to act in accordance to exactly that. If you view yourself as a procrastinator, guess what? You're going to procrastinate. If you view yourself as some lazy ass, you're going to be one lazy ass. However, if you view yourself as a productive entrepreneur, guess what you're going to be? That's right, productive entrepreneur. And this to yourself might seem a bit fake right now, but guys, you have to realize that your goals, right? The purpose of a goal is not to achieve the goal. The purpose of a goal is to see who you must become in order to achieve that goal. Think about it. Every goal is going to shape you into the person you were born to be. Every goal is going to change you positively. Think about that. Think about the goals you've achieved in the past. Did it change you? Of course. If you set yourself a fitness goal, you realize not only did you get like the body you wanted, but your mind shifted. So every goal is going to change you. And the question is, who are you right now without your name? What labels have you enforced on yourself? What stick-it notes must you just take off? And just notice the fact that I say stick-it notes. Your identity is literally like stick-it notes. Procrastination, boom, throw it in the bin. Laziness, boom, throw it in the bin. And attach the ones you want. And basically affirm that every single morning. Who are you? Well, I'm a fearless entrepreneur who eats uncertainty for breakfast. Boom. If I keep saying that to myself, guess what? I'm going to be one fearless entrepreneur. And that's exactly what I did 8 years ago. I changed how I view myself. Because back then, I used to view myself as a stoner. Lazy ass, violent. You know, a lot of you guys know my knuckle still remains broken to this day. And I viewed myself as just basically a guy, shy, anxious. And I was just acting in accordance to that. So you have to realize that you will never deviate from your internal mapping. Therefore, you must change the internal mapping. You must change how you view yourself in order to stay more self-disciplined. So, decide who you must become in order to achieve that goal. And become that person in advance. Become that person in advance. Because that will allow you to actually achieve that goal. Think about it. Millionaires become millionaires. The only way you're going to become successful is to become that successful person right now. You must think, act, behave like a millionaire in order to become a millionaire.